So yeah, so just if you go live, you always you got to get like just minimize that Google thing and then just watch it through YouTube. Just throw it in YouTube.
Okay, I'll try and figure that out. Let's hope this does something. Hey, I think I'm live. Let's hope this. Oh. Awesome. Okay, it's working. All right, thank you. Oh man, all right. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, I forgot that I was even going live, and then I stuffed up because I couldn't figure out how to actually start the live stream. Oh, but thank you, Scott, for helping me. Going live, and then yeah. So get things started, I guess. We've got 8. I'm sorry, this is all very new to me. Seeing the replay delayed. All right. So yeah, I guess the introduction to the whole live stream thing, definitely my first time. As I alluded to this on Instagram, but I don't know how many people are following me there. But yeah, it's basically going to be a bit of me talking about whatever subjects I feel like talking about, and then we'll open it up to the chat, and you can say whatever you want and discuss it, ask any questions or whatnot. So the topic of this live stream is an introduction to many things. So yeah, I'm gonna say, I'll introduce sort of my interests and where they all came from, and yeah, all that. Yeah, tech is hard. So all of my hobbies and interests stem from photography, and yeah, it's a hard question to ask me, how long have you been doing photography? Because it's like, well, when did I pick up my first camera? Probably when I was in, like, I don't know, I think I was in grade 4, maybe a bit earlier. So how long ago was that? I got no clue. The 6 was 2010, so it must have been like 2008 or something that I picked up my first camera. And it was like a little, it was a disposable film camera. I had like 12 shots, and thanks, Luke. Yeah, I had 12 shots to take. I think I used them all on my camp to Sovereign Hill. Cool, but also not cool camp. That's for another day. Yeah, 12 shots, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I think half of them were, turned out pretty crap for one reason or the other. Like I think the flash was like, it was either automatic or always on. Either way, you couldn't control it. And I tried to take a photo out of a window, and all I got was the flash reflecting off the window. But yeah, that was interesting. And yeah, the next couple of years after that, I think I got a couple more disposable film cameras. And then it would have been like, I don't know, a year after that or something, I got my first sort of non-disposable camera. Yeah, just a minute. You got to get the flash off the camera. I agree. I love my off-camera flash now. Did I say Mewtwo? Gives a minute. Yeah, love my off-camera flash now, but the little point and shoot, no way you're going to separate the flash. But yeah, so where was I? Yeah, my first non-disposable camera. It was a film camera. It was a fisheye camera. Actually, give me a minute. Here it is. It's a bit dusty. There you go, Floyd 5D. So I was in year 5 when I got this. But it's a fisheye camera, a film fisheye camera. Hasn't got any film in it, hasn't had any film in it for years, but yeah, it's cool. And you can control the flash, look at that, off and on. How advanced. And yeah, it's a nice little camera. I have fond memories of it. Zero control over anything, but yeah. I think my most memorable photos that I took with that was of the Eureka Tower. When I was in year 5, I was obsessed with the Eureka Tower, and I went up there one day, and it was like my birthday present or something. I went up there, went up to the top, and went out on the sky deck, you call it, I think, the glass pod that extends out of the building. That was cool. Took a few random photos with the fisheye camera, and the fisheye, like, the photos that it produced were circular. It'd be printed on, I'd get them printed onto like normal 6x4 inch paper, but they'd come with a little circle on it. So that was my little fisheye journey. G'day, Tony. And then I got my first digital camera, and shot little point and shoot for years, a couple of years after that. And yeah, it was then that my photography passion sort of started to grow, and it was from about 2013 onwards that I really started to take photography seriously. And I think it was when I was in year 11. Yeah, I was in year 11, 2016. Got my first DSLR, and I always had the intention of, just trying to learn as much as I could and trying to get the most out of it as I could, no matter what my camera. And yeah, I guess that philosophy still extends with me today. And so, yeah, in more recent years, I've taken my photography and moved it to the things that you know me for, such as urbex and trains, and all of that. And that's when that's where I'm at the moment, I guess, and I'm always trying to continue it. And yeah, as to where urbex came from, I've told the story on Fogarty Avenue before, but yeah, just one day Les and I hadn't been talking for a year or two, really. But yeah, he just messaged me one day and was like, "Hey, I'm going out urbexing. Do you want to come?" And I said, "Yeah." And from there, it's history. As for trains, I'd always had a various interest, sort of background level interest in trains, but hadn't really taken it seriously. And then one day, I think it was late 2015, I wanted to know, I remembered that the train operator, the earliest train operator that I remembered was the Met. And I wanted to know, well, what was before the Met? And I looked it up, and it turns out it was the Victorian Railways. And I started reading Wikipedia articles on the Victorian Railways and everything. And yeah, the rest is history there again, with my trains. And now I'm not trying to say this to brag, but I guess it is bragging, but whatever. I'd say that I have the most general knowledge about Victorian trains for my age. I don't think there's anyone really around my age who I know of that knows as much about trains in Victoria as I do, which is kind of cool, but kind of sad at the same time, because I'm like, oh, there needs to be someone else who can put in more effort than me, so that, you know, I can have someone to compete with, I guess. All I've got is old men to compete with, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. It gets me stuff. So yeah, I think that's about it for my interest, and just exploring in general. I've just, ever since I've had a car, really, had my license, I've loved just going places. And yeah, met tons of new people, social media. I've met so many good friends through social media. It's ridiculous. I would have never have thought that I would, but here I am now. So yeah, I'll look back through the chat and I'll see if there's any questions. And yeah, if anyone's got any questions for me, then I'll happily answer them. Pocket Wizards gives a minute, says, changed his photography back in the day to no end. Yeah, I can imagine. For the non-camera nerds, those are like radio triggers for flashes, so that you can have your camera in one position but your flash in another position. And yeah, I don't use my flash that much these days, but yeah, I really should use it a bit more. You look like you're still in grade 5, Scott says. Yeah, that's very true. You should see what I actually looked like in grade 5. I looked like I was about 3. What's my current camera for YouTube, says Matthew James. It's a Canon 70D with a 10-18 lens most of the time. I've also got an 18 to 135mm lens, and I use that more so for my train stuff. But for urbex and general stuff, it's a 10-18. Are you going to upload the abandoned South Gippsland line on the Lort line? Good question. Les has sort of finished the edit on the Lort line. He's at the stage, I mean, he's always been at this, he's completed it like years ago, but yeah, then he's always wanting to go back and like cut an extra 2 frames out of the video, and I think he's a bit stupid for that, but anyway. Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever upload it, or maybe I'll convince him to just upload it for his own sake, because he's never going to get it up on his channel. So maybe I will upload it someday. Yeah. As for the South Gippsland line, I don't think he's done any editing for that. Maybe I'll do it one day. Maybe not. I've got no shortage of content for this channel, so we'll see. Shane says, g'day. G'day, Sean. It's amazing how wide a net can be cast on social media. Give us a minute. Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many, different things about that. Yeah, Red Hen, Railcar, Sar. G'day. We've got 15 now. That's cool. Is there anything anyone wants me to chat about? Because, what about trains like the Indian Pacific? I'd love to go on the Indian Pacific one day. The only problem is it costs about $4,000 for a cheap ticket. So I don't have $4,000. I wish I did. Although speaking of trains and stuff, I do plan to head in July to Queensland, and I'm going for a full 3 weeks with Les. Les was just over at my place just before we started this live stream to tell me that he wants to come for the whole thing, which is awesome. So I'm going to be going. The current plan with Queensland is we're going to be flying up to Brisbane, and then we'll spend a few days in Brisbane. At that point, I will take the train to Charleville, and Les will stay in Brisbane for that part. And yeah, he will. He's got he knows a few people up in Brisbane, so we're going to get free accommodation in Brisbane, which is awesome. And yeah, so I'm going to take the train to Charleville and stay there for a couple of days, take the bus back to Brisbane, join up with Les, and then I think we're going up to Cairns. Going to go on the Coranda Scenic Railway up there, spend a couple of days in Cairns, come back down to Townsville, then go across out west to Mount Isa, come back to, actually no, we don't come back from Mount Isa that way. We actually spend a couple of days in Mount Isa, then get on a bus, go to Longreach, spend a couple of days in Longreach, and I'm visiting the Qantas Founders Museum there, which will be awesome. And then getting the train from Longreach back to Brisbane, and then getting on the train from Brisbane to Sydney. Plan on staying in Sydney for a couple of days, and I've been offered accommodation there as well from a certain subscriber. So thank you very much. You know who you are. And yeah, then I'm going to head home on the train to Melbourne. So yeah, that will be pretty cool. You seem to be traveling more. How cool. Yeah. Tony, one of the things I want to show on this channel is that, I'm a bloody broke uni student, but I still manage to get around quite a bit, and I want to show people that you don't need lots of money to see cool places. You can get on a shoestring budget and go to some awesome places, like the whole 3-week Queensland adventure. I think it's going to cost me about $2,000, maybe a little bit more. But considering everything that I'm doing, like 3 weeks away, that's a reasonably cheap holiday. Do you have a favourite level crossing, Applehead? No, I can't say I do have a favourite level crossing. But yeah. Out of the big urban explorers currently on YouTube, who has influenced you the most? Oh, that's hard to say. I guess I'd have to say the proper people. I don't tend to watch their videos that much anymore, and I kind of wish I did a bit more. But yeah, I've always liked their philosophy and their quality of videos, and I guess it's something that I'm always trying to aspire to. You'll like the Westlander to Charleville, Robert. I'm sure I will. Longreach, yay, says Redhead. Have you been there, Redhead Railcar? Considering you're obviously from South Australia, be cool. Oh, one day I want to go there and see the planes there. So, okay, yeah, I answered my own question. Yeah, the planes are going to be awesome there. For those who don't know, the Founders Museum, Longreach was the original sort of starting place for Qantas, and yeah, they've got a whole bunch of planes there, all the way from the very first planes to some of the planes they built themselves, all the way up to like a modern, semi-modern 747 and 707, and I'll be doing the tour where you get to see all of the inside, all of the restricted areas, and you get to walk on the wing. So that's going to be awesome. And I think stand in the engine as well. So that's going to be awesome. Robert Muller says that train to Charleville goes through near where I am. Oh, awesome. Good point. Best time of your life to do it. Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'm, relatively free of commitments, at least for a few weeks of the year. But honestly, I want to try to show that anyone can do it. It might just be a day away, it might be a weekend away, it might be 3 weeks away, but, don't think that, you can't do it, because if I can do it, anyone can do it. Do you like pineapple on your pizza? Lady pizza. Yeah, I don't mind it. Hawaiian or something like that probably isn't my first choice of pizza to begin with, but sure, I'll eat it. Also, when you went to Mount Gambier for the old hospital, did you walk along the railway? I didn't go to Mount Gambier, but Les did, and I believe he did walk along the railway a bit, yes. Favourite class of train, says Applehead. That's again a tough one. I guess I have to say the S-class steamers, even though they're not around today, they're really awesome. And actually, give me a minute. Let me find something. Oh, shit. Here we go. So this is what an S-class looks like. It's an old model that I inherited from my grandfather, and yeah, it's a very nice model. It's very heavy. It's made of painted brass. I don't know how old it is. I have to check that, but these things ran probably the most famous train in Victorian history, I guess, the Spirit of Progress. So yeah, that's really nice. As for more modern stuff, I don't know. I guess I like the N class. They're nice. A's are always nice as well. There's so many good classes of trains. And it is where Prince Charles visited. Oh, okay, cool. What am I using to live stream? A 2013 MacBook Pro webcam. Quality's not the best, but hey, whatever does the job. I'll upgrade the quality maybe in the future, but I don't know. We'll see. What area are you from in Melbourne? I'm in the sort of Brighton area. That's what I'm like a suburb or two away from Brighton, but yeah, generally if it's one suburb that people know, it's Brighton. So I'm near there. Great choice of train. Nice model. I think I saw a model of one at the model railway section of the Newport Museum. Yeah, you probably did. Is it cold right now? Yes. It's relatively warm in my room at the moment, but let's check the weather. It's not too bad. It's like 13. It gets very cold, and especially I'm in the upstairs section of my house, and it's got pretty much no insulation, so it's very hot in the summer and very cold in the winter. What program am I using? Chrome. There's a railway museum in Ipswich. Yes, thank you, Robert. I'm definitely planning to visit the Ipswich Museum. It's dang freezing in Melbourne outside. Yeah, it is. We've had a string of pretty shocking weather. In fact, it's getting a bit warm in here, so I'll push that door open a little bit and let a bit more cold air into here and heat up my bedroom a little bit. Didn't know you could live stream from Chrome. Well, I actually normally use Safari as my web browser, but you can't live stream from Safari, so Chrome it is. Some people say you can never go to Melbourne on a holiday and never have one cloudy/rainy day. Yeah, unless you're here for like one day and it happens to be a good day. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Would you ever build your own train? Yeah, in terms of like model railways and stuff, yeah, I'd love to. But yeah, I'm getting a call from Dad. Give me a minute, I'll be back. Hello? Yeah, I can. Right, I'll have to wrap it up in about 5 minutes. Would I build my own train in other aspects? Sure. If I had the time and money and space, sure. Ever walked the loop tunnels? Nope. Yeah, that's not for me. Like they're very cool, and in a lot of ways I would love to walk them, but also just the risk for me is perhaps not worth it. Busted for using all the internet. No, actually, we've got pretty good internet here. 100 down and 20 up, something like that. Dad wanted me to come help set up a phone for my grandma, so that's what I'll do. Have a look at the tilt train. We're in Brisbane. It's been rebuilt. Oh, okay. Which tilt train are you talking? You're talking about the electric one or the diesel one? Because I'm going on the diesel one to Cairns, obviously. But if I see the electric one, yeah, I want to check that out. Would you take a pizza with you if you camped on the silo again? Absolutely. Yeah. I think the nearest pizza shop would probably be about an hour away, but sure. What's your opinion on the new high-capacity trains in Melbourne? I think they should have been double deck. But I was having this discussion with someone the other day from Sydney, and they were sort of saying that, you know, it's an interesting comparison because Sydney has just done their new metro trains, and their single deck, which is a departure from Sydney's normal double deck. And that was before the whole automated train failures. The electric one. Okay. Yeah, I look forward to that. Yeah, I think that the high capacity trains in Melbourne should be double deck. I think that the whole thing with the dwell times is a bit bullshit, to be honest. But yeah, the guy in Sydney was sort of saying like, sort of the old argument of the grass is always greener. You know, I guess there are benefits and disadvantages to both. Personally, I think the double deck would have been the better way to go. But apart from that, I think they're all right. And I don't know, can't really say much on them until I've seen them running or something like that. I mean, I've seen the first one got transferred, and that's about it. And I've obviously I went on the public model, like full-size model one on that. Reminds you of the 4D train, yeah. Yeah, I wish that was still around. We did try and double deck, it didn't work in Melbourne. Yeah, I'm very aware of the whole 4D train and the double deck, and the reason it didn't work well wasn't because it was double deck. It was because it was a weird, it was just like a once off, and because of that, parts were expensive, and it was a weird hybrid. Like, if people know the Sydney Tangera trains, it wasn't a direct Tangera. It was slightly narrower than a Tangera, and it had Comenge electricals, apparently. Comenge running gear. Yeah, I think double deck trains need to be given another chance. I live I'm from the new metro in Sydney. Had a few problems in its first week. Yes, I've heard about that. Okay, I'm going to pretty much wrap it up because, yeah, I did say that I would go and help my grandma. So thanks to everyone who tuned in on the first episode, and leave any comments or something like that if you've got any suggestions for future episodes. Got lots to talk about other than that. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time. Oh, and I will have a video out tomorrow night. It is a train and urbex related video, which is cool. Some old decaying tape carriages that I found, Red Rattler carriages that I found. So yeah, look forward to the video of that tomorrow night. See you later. All right, stop broadcast. See ya.